All right, welcome back to the deep dive. Today we're diving into, a pretty surprising story. In the IPL, anything can happen.
Right.
It's full of those unexpected moments. But this one is about Nehal Wadhera and how he got picked for the Delhi Capitals. Kind of crazy, actually. Our main source here is an excerpt from a Cricket Unplugged podcast episode, and it's called Get This. Nehal Wadhera reveals how Ricky Ponting left him surprised with his selection.
Yeah, and the excerpt is all about just how much of a shock it was for Wadhera. Like you said, the IPL can be unpredictable, but this is next level. Wadhera arrives at Delhi Capitals in 2022, thinks he's there as a net bowler, and then boom, everything changes.
It's wild, right? I mean, imagine that. You show up thinking you're there to bowl in the nets, help the main guys prepare, and then you find out, nope, Ricky Ponting, a legend of the game, sees you as something completely different. So that's what we're going to explore in this deep dive. How this surprise selection happened, how a mentor, especially someone like Ponting, can spot potential that a player may not even see in themselves. And, what this whole thing tells us about opportunity in the world of professional sports, and I think even beyond that. Oh, and just to put this in context, remember how Wadhera really shined as a batter with Mumbai Indians in the 2023 season? Well, that makes this whole Delhi Capitals episode even more interesting.
Yeah, it definitely adds another layer to the story, doesn't it? Like, it makes you wonder if that experience with Delhi and Ponting, even though he didn't play for them that season, maybe that had something to do with his later success.
Absolutely. It's like a what if. What if this hadn't happened?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's rewind to 2022. Wadhera joins Delhi Capitals. And like the Cricket Unplugged excerpt says, he's primarily a net bowler. So walk us through that. What does net bowler actually do? And what would his mindset have been going into that?
Okay, so imagine you have the main batting lineup, right? They need to practice facing different types of bowling. That's where net bowlers come in. They basically bowl ball after ball in the net so the batters can get their eye in and practice against different deliveries, fast bowling, spin bowling, all that.
So basically like a high-level training partner.
Exactly. And for a young player like Wadhera coming in as a net bowler, he's probably laser focused on impressing the coaches with his bowling skills, making sure every ball is good quality, trying to catch their eye, The idea of suddenly being considered a top-order batsman, probably not even on his radar.
And then Ponting drops this bombshell, like literally changes the game for him. And in the excerpt, Wadhera recounts the moment when Ponting basically says, kid, you're not just here to bowl, you're in our squad as a batter. Just, wow. What really stood out to you about that whole revelation?
Well, first off, imagine the shock. Like, you're brought in for one very specific role. And then suddenly, this huge figure in cricket, Ricky Ponting, tells you, no, you're valued for something completely different. You're good enough to be in the main squad and not for what you thought you were there for. That's got to mess with your head in a good way, of course, but still. And the way Wadhera tells it, he was totally blown away. Like, he never thought he'd be on their radar as a batsman at all.
Right. And it speaks volumes about Ponting, don't you think? Here's a guy brought in to bowl, and then this legendary batsman and coach sees something in his batting that maybe no one else had picked up on. I mean, what kind of qualities do you think Ponting might have noticed, even in those informal net sessions?
Well, you have to think about it this way. Someone like Ponting, he's seen it all, right? He's played at the highest level, coached at the highest level. He's not just looking at the surface. He's noticing the small details. Maybe Wadhera's bat speed was exceptional, or the way his hands moved, his timing, his footwork, even his temperament when facing a fast bowler in the nets. It could have been one particular shot that caught Ponting's eye, or just a gut feeling, that instinct that comes with experience.
Like an I've seen this before type of thing.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what makes these experienced coaches so valuable. They can sometimes see potential where others might not.
Right. And, the fact that it was Ricky Ponting who gave him this validation, that's huge, especially for a young player. I mean, to have someone like Ponting believe in you, even if he didn't get any actual playing time with Delhi that season, that must have been a massive confidence boost.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, talk about a vote of confidence. It's like someone telling you you've got what it takes even before you realize it yourself. That kind of encouragement, especially from a legend, can really stick with a player. And it makes you think, how often do these kinds of unexpected recognitions happen in professional sports? I mean, the IPL is a pressure cooker.
Yeah, super competitive. Everyone's looking for an edge. And in Wadhera's case, he ends up being recognized for something completely different from what he was initially brought in for. That's crazy.
It shows you that talent can manifest in unexpected ways, right? And that sometimes it takes a different perspective, someone like Ponting with that experience and a fresh set of eyes, to really see a player's full potential.
It's a good reminder that we're not always just one thing. And, when I think about Wadhera's success with Mumbai Indians later on, I can't help but wonder if that moment with Ponting played a part. Like maybe that seed of belief, even if it didn't immediately lead to playing time with Delhi, maybe it stayed with him, helped him develop his batting even more.
It's definitely possible. Having that kind of validation from someone like Ponting early on could have given him the drive and the resilience to keep pushing, to be ready when the opportunity came along. It just goes to show you the impact a coach can have, even in ways they may not have intended.
Right, like a ripple effect.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's wrap this up. We've been talking about this excerpt from Cricket Unplugged, where Nehal Wadhera shares how he ended up as a potential batter for Delhi Capitals, even though he came in as a net bowler. The biggest takeaway here is that moment with Ricky Ponting, that recognition of talent, even when Wadhera himself didn't realize it. That's pretty powerful.
Yeah, it shows how Ponting could see potential in unexpected places. It's a great example of how opportunities can pop up in the most surprising ways, especially in a fast-paced environment like the IPL.
And for anyone listening, think about it, right? It's a reminder that talent isn't always obvious, and sometimes it takes someone else to see it in you. Think about the impact a mentor can have, how one moment, one conversation can change the course of your career, even your life. We should always stay open to new possibilities and look for the potential in ourselves and in others. You never know where it might lead.
Couldn't have said it better myself. It's all about recognizing that potential, wherever it might be hiding.
Absolutely. All right, that's a wrap for this episode of The Deep Dive. See you next time.
See you then.